Hello and welcome to the December vlog. Hooray! It's December 1st. I'm on top of things. I've already edited and posted November's vlog, and I filmed the wrap up, and I returned the library book. So November is really over, y'all. I actually got another book at the library when I returned Know My Name, which was amazing. Highly recommend, by Chanel Miller. 10 out of 10. I had another book that I'd planned to pick up for a minute. I actually wanted an audiobook of this, but none of the libraries had them. So I got The Girls Who Went Away, The Hidden History of Women Who Surrendered Children for Adoption in the Decades Before Roe v. Wade by Fessler. That's a long-ass title. This is a nonfiction book about women who had to give their children up for adoption, who faced a lot of societal pressure, who maybe didn't want to in a lot of cases, but felt they had no other choice, had no family support, were shunned by friends and family and society. And the author of this book is actually one of the adoptees, and it includes her search for her birth mother. But I've heard good things about this. I'm trying to think of who recommended this to me. Let me check real quick, because I feel like I should say Keep Calm with Books and Coffee. She talked about this book for a good long minute on her channel because I think it took her a minute to read, but I'm really looking forward to this. I've actually been getting one physical book from the library a month, and they've all been nonfiction, so that might be a trend that continues. But also, I'm trying to read my shelves. I love the library, but my shelves are ridiculous. The books are just stacked on the top of them because there's no room. So I don't know, but I hope this one's good. I haven't started reading it yet because I do have 3 nonfiction books on the go right now, which is less than ideal, but when I get to this, I hope I'll love it. It's the second reading update. I am suddenly very into romance novels. I don't know why. I just suddenly desperately needed to read romance. So I read one today and it was fun. Not great, but fun. I don't know how to find good romance novels that I like, because I don't know anything about the genre and I don't read it, and I don't follow many people who do read it. So it's I don't know how to find good ones. So I mostly wind up reading ones that are not very good, and it just feels like I'm trashing the genre, but I don't know how to find if you have any recommendations, give them to me down below. Serious, kind of dramatic, contemporary adult romance novels. I don't really like light and fluffy ones, and I don't necessarily go for the super dark, suspense thrillery ones. Something kind of in between, where it's drama and high emotion and bad things happen, but in a realistic way. But it's still a romance novel. It's not general fiction. That's kind of what I'm going for, and I just don't know how to find it. And I'm sure it exists, because that doesn't seem like a wild request. So I'm just kind of reading random stuff. I don't know. Also, the physical book I am reading is The End of the Twins by Saul Diskin, and I'm gonna DNF this. I can't do it. I tried. I'm 80 pages in, which is not that far, but it's only 250 pages. So percentage wise, that's not a small amount, and I am so bored. It's so dull, and I checked another 50-80 pages in, and his brother's still alive, so it's more just about them coming to terms with the death, but they've already started doing that, and I don't like it anymore, because I kept thinking once we get into the meat of the book, once the brother dies or is closer to death, we'll get into the emotion and stuff. And we have started to get into that, and I don't like it anymore. I hate how he writes dialogue. It's a memoir, so it's nonfiction, but there's dialogue, and it's I swear this is not how people talk. This is clearly not the conversation that was had. It's summarized or pieced together, which I don't mind, but it's so boring to read, and just his narration is so dull, and it's I feel bad because this book is about his twin brother's death, but I'm having such a bad time, and This book has no reviews on Goodreads, so when I write my review, it's gonna have one review, and that review is a DNF, and I feel so bad about that. And to be honest, for a second I was like, oh no, I can't DNF it, and then I googled the author because I was like, maybe he's dead, because he would be in his late 80s by now, and he is dead, and I feel really sad that he is dead, but also I'm a terrible person, a little bit relieved, because now I can DNF this without guilt. I feel like a really bad person right now, but I just can't do this book. Like, I don't want to pick it up. I was like, all I have to do is like get through another like 180 pages, and I was looking like, I don't want to pick it up. I never want to read it. I read the romance novel ebook on my lunch break at work today in order to not read this, because I was into the romance novel, but B, I did not want to read this. I don't know. It's so dull. It's just one of those books that like I cannot get into anything about it, and I feel so bad. And like I really do like reading things about like grief, because I don't know, I find it comforting, kind of. I mean, sad, but like in a comforting way, to just like hear other people coping with it and how they manage. And it's just like, I can't. At least it's off of my shelf. I'll give it that. So yeah, that's the disappointment of the month, but hopefully it's up from here. The romance novel was not great, but it was super fun. So I've already downloaded 2 more from the library, and I'm gonna read them. I DNF'd another book, and I gave a book 1 star. It's been an interesting reading month so far. I DNF'd a romance novel, which, to be honest, I do DNF romance novels a whole lot easier than like other books, just because romance novels do have like an ending that you know is working towards. So it's like, if I'm not into the main couple and like wanting them to be together, then what's the point? There is no point, so I'll DNF it. It wasn't good. But like, the 1 star was not a romance novel. That was a book from my shelf that was terrible. And then I kind of went to my shelf and I don't really have many romance novels. I have 1. So I grabbed the 1 romance novel I have, which I don't think I'm gonna read this month, just because like it's not given vibes that I want. Like, I'm craving romance, but like a very specific kind of romance. So, but I read that, and like a couple of other books that were like either women's fiction-y, or at least dealing heavily with like relationships and emotions, and like anything that was giving vibes. I went through my shelves and grabbed a few things. So the thing that I'm reading right now is Between the Tides by Patti, Callahan, Henry. I don't like this. I mean, it's fine. It's probably gonna be 3 stars. I'm like halfway through. It's just like so nothing, and I don't like her writing style, and it's like I'm fighting the urge to skim. Like, that's when I can tell it's a bad book, is when like I have to like keep myself from skimming. But I'm gonna get through it. It's just kind of like like, she blames herself for this kid's death from when she was a child. It's like, you were a child when that happened. It was an accident. It's clearly not your fault, and it's just a little bit tiresome. And like, she has a boyfriend, but there is a hot man in her life who is not her boyfriend. So of course the boyfriend is just a terrible human being, because like otherwise we would feel bad about her dumping him. And I don't know, it's one of those. I don't understand. In this situation, you want to write a book about a woman who meets a guy and they fall in love and like build their relationship. You don't want her to have a guy and like have her dump him, and have the reader like sympathize with the guy being dumped who was with her before she met like the new man in her life, because you don't want any like questioning of like whether the new man in her life is the right one, because he is obviously the right one. Why not just make her single? Like, her boyfriend has nothing to do in this book. He's barely been a presence, apart from just like him being off screen this entire book and being a terrible human being. And it's like, why bother at that point? Like, he has nothing to do with anything. He's not related to anything in the book. Like, he contributes nothing except being a terrible human being, and it annoys me. But I'm gonna finish this, and then I will read something else. And tomorrow at work, I have another romance novel that I'm going to try, The last one, I thought it was adult, and it turns out it wasn't adult. It was new adult once again. It was tagged as adult. This is why I have trouble finding romance novels, because like I'll look at a list of like contemporary romance novel recommendations, and I'll get like 4 books down the list, and then it'll list Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine, which like I enjoyed that book quite a bit, but that is not a romance novel. Why is it on these lists? Like, it barely has a romance in it. Like, I don't understand. For once I have lighting. This is the difference when I film in here at like 6 p.m. versus like first thing in the morning. Light. I just filmed the tag because I don't have a video for today, and that's what I do. But I filmed it, and when I was like getting ready for the tag, I had to find a few books for it just to like, you know, have books for the tag so I could hold them up. And it took me so long to find the books I was looking for. I was like, oh, I know what book I want to hold up for this question. And I went looking for it, and oh, I spent so much time looking for it. Like, I really need to organize my shelves because they are such a wreck. I was like, I think it's on this shelf, and it wasn't, and I looked like 5 times, and I looked at another shelf, and it wasn't there. And I looked at like 6 other shelves, and I went back, and it was on the second shelf, which apparently I'd missed it. I don't know. But I need to organize them because it would be so easy to just like go to my classic shelf and find the classic novel that I am looking for, or like go to my drama shelf and find the drama I'm looking. Like, if I could just have them by genre the way I like, my life would be so much easier. It just takes so much time. Like, I have to build bookshelves. That is my goal for the month, is to get my bookshelves built and get all of my books on them. And then I can figure out like organizing and all of that. It's just like I desperately need to organize because they're so, it's impossible to find anything. Like, if I am looking for a specific book, it takes so long, and I don't like it. This is a weird angle. I don't really care. I'm tired. I haven't been vlogging. Whoops. December is a rough month. Honestly, just like in general. I work retail, so like anytime from like the middle of November when Thanksgiving prep starts to like post Christmas, well, to be honest, like post New Year's really, is just a rough time. And apparently they've just decided to send like 6 different corporate people to my store at 6 different times, of course. So everyone's like freaking out over the like 5 visits we have in a span of like a week and a half, and then someone's coming like 2 days before Christmas Eve. Like, why would you, why I don't know. I'm beyond caring at this point. Like, if you're gonna come to my store 2 days before Christmas Eve, you get what you get. The promo aisle, the Christmas aisle, is not gonna look nice. I'm not gonna spend 6 hours trying to fluff it and make it look nice just for us to take it down as soon as Christmas is over. Like, that just creates more work for me, so they can deal with it. I'm trying to read things. I am reading things, but it's just like, as I'm sitting here reading things, I'm looking at all the books that I meant to read this year that I wanted to get read by the end of the year. Like, I'm reading one right now, which is fine. I'm reading 7 Games, allegedly, but to be honest, I haven't picked that up in a minute because I'm not having the best time with it, despite the fact that it's a good book. I want to read Driven by Dan Cobain. I want to read Dracula. I want to read I Capture the Castle. I want to read a couple more Agatha Christie's. I want to read The Somnambulist. I want to read, what else did I want to read? There were more things. Oh, The Girls Who Went Away, the nonfiction book about pregnancy before Roe v. Wade and adoption. And it's just like, I want to read all of these books, and I'm like, the month is half over. This is not gonna happen. It's just not. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have to cut some of them out, and it's just like, I don't want to cut some of them out. Like, some of them are for videos that I want to post this month, so they have to be read, and then some of them Right, like one's a library book, so I want to get that done. And then 7 games was a gift for my birthday, so I kind of wanted to get that done this year. And it's just like, oh, it's so much. Like, I don't know why I do this to myself. I just overwhelm myself, and I have no one to blame but me. Just me. Are you over here, Spleen? I see a shadow from her tail, but not a spleen. So yeah, and then I have to like continue doing life things too, and then I have to find time in between all my work and all the extra hours that we put in for Christmas to hang out with family and have like 5 different Christmases, because like there's my family, there's my boyfriend's 2 families, there's my best friend, there's like all these different things that I have to make time for, and I don't get time off for Christmas. I just get like my 2 days off a week if I don't go in extra. I hate the holidays. I hate December. I'm trying to read things. I don't know. I'm feeling very bitter. Like nothing in particular, you know? Like nothing is wrong. It's just that I'm feeling very bitter. And I don't want to like go wash the dishes, which is what I'm supposed to be doing right now. I've been trying to catch up on Booktube, but I'm still behind. I just had 2 days off in a row, which are like the only 2 days off I'm getting in a row. Okay. December's a lot. But I'm gonna go do dishes and then read some more and try to hopefully get as much done this year as I can, because everything else is gonna roll over to next year and still needs to get done. Huzzah.
At a certain point, but it also just has like these very dark game at times, shockingly dark, and it's wild because like the timing of the movie is such a good way, because
So I did actually manage to narrow down my end of the year reading list to 3 books that like I really care about getting through by the end of the year. Like I will likely read more than that, but there are like 3 books that I need to get finished by the end of the year, and then anything else I'll just fill in as I have time, which is much less stressful than like the 12 books that I kept looking at thinking, how am I possibly going to get through all of these? So I have 7 games, which I don't have on me, which I read another chapter of last night. It's got 7 chapters plus an introduction and epilogue, and it's just like a book about games. I will talk more about that later when I've made more progress. I've been working on it for a long time, and it's just like good but not really to my interest. And I have one more Agatha Christie to get through, and I finally started The Girls Who Went Away, which is a book about adoption between like 1945 and 1973 in America, and basically how women, particularly like young unmarried girls, were pressured or forced or bullied into giving up their children for adoption, when in many cases they really didn't want to, but they didn't have any other options. And it's basically about those mothers and the trauma they went through and kind of what they experienced in the long term. So far it's really good. I'm not very far in. I read it for like an hour today at work. It's gonna be a really good, worthwhile book. The author is actually an adoptee herself. Her mother was one of these women, and it's kind of like her stories interwoven into this book. I do like it a lot, but it is a lot of testimonials from these women, which is very valuable and beneficial, but it also like, I'm really enjoying it right now, but the amount of this book, like the percentage of this book that is just testimonials from these women in their own words, or at least like briefly paraphrased words. I don't know if they're like literal quotations or not. There are sometimes long sections. I can see how it would get tiresome to that degree. Like, it's not yet, I'm not that far in, but I do see how like just hearing what is essentially a very similar story over and over might get to be kind of a lot, but I'm really enjoying it so far. So we'll see if it like kind of keeps up throughout the whole book, or if it kind of like shifts narrative style, because I am really liking it right now. and I finally finished my audiobook. I've been listening to Empire of Pain, I don't remember the author's name, for the longest time, and it's so interesting. It was about it's about the Sackler family and Purdue Pharma, who were the creators of OxyContin and kind of like the opioid epidemic. It focuses a lot, it's mostly focused on the Sackler family. So if you're interested in like the opioid epidemic itself, like not so much for you, but it was so interesting. But like I was listening to that for the longest time, like 3 straight weeks. It's a very long audiobook, but so interesting, so good. So I'm gonna move on to Cultish, which I also don't know who it's by. That one's much shorter, so I kind of like to like go for a shorter book maybe after such a long audiobook. But Empire of Pain was fascinating. It was the kind of audiobook I love to listen to because it was just so much information and such good information. But yeah, thoroughly enjoyable. It is January 1st. This vlog kind of got away from me. December crushed my soul a little bit between the holidays and my job, and I read a lot. I have 25 books to talk about for my wrap up, which is a lot. So that's gonna be an interesting wrap up to film. I don't know if I'm gonna like do it in 2 parts or if I should just like have a long video and y'all can skip through or like end early. I don't know. I didn't actually finish 7 games. Whoops. I only had like a little bit left. Like I'm almost done. I had like a chapter and a half to go, and I didn't have it in me. I could have done it yesterday. Like I had time. I just didn't want to, so I didn't. It's fine. I'll finish it this year. It'll be my first January book. Huzzah. Yeah. But apart from like reading, well, I'm putting that down. Apart from doing a lot of reading, I didn't do a whole lot in December beyond that. Like the holidays were a lot. They're always a lot, which is fine. But like even beyond that, work has just been like beyond ridiculous. Like I didn't watch any booktube in the second half of December time. I didn't watch any booktube in the second half of December. So like if I didn't watch your video and like I'm watching it this week, that's why. It's not you, it's me. I'm catching up on everyone's content. It'll be fine. But like work has been bad for a long time. And in November, basically they messed up my pay, which has been very stressful. And in, the more than 6 weeks since they messed up my pay, not only have they not fixed that, but they have proceeded to mess it up worse. And it was getting very stressful. And then it got to the point where they overpaid me, and which like they're gonna take the money back, which is fine. Like I'm not trying to get overpaid here. I'm just trying to, do my job. And no one could tell me how much they were going to take back or when they were going to take it back or how they were going to take it back. So like I have an undetermined amount of money sitting in my bank account that might just disappear at some point, or they might take it out of my next paycheck, or like no one can answer my questions. Like not the store managers, not the HR store person, not the district HR, not division HR. Like I have escalated this issue, and basically on Friday was kind of the last straw for me, so I'm quitting my job. Friday was my last day. I haven't actually talked to my manager yet, but I don't know, that was just, it's been a very stressful time at my job, which has not been a great place, like beyond that, it was never a good place to work, but like this was kind of just like it for me. So newly unemployed. I mean, I'll be fine. Like I have savings and stuff, and like I'm taking a break from working because I'm so burned out. So I'm starting the new year unemployed, which is haven't done that in a while, and it's very scary and stressful, but also like I think it was necessary, and I think it'll be good for my situation to like do things that are for me, like catch up on all my life stuff, like just like do all the productive things that I've been putting off for years. Like I can go through all my clothes and get rid of what I don't need. Like, I can finally build the bookshelves that have been sitting over here for like 2 months. Like, I can do a lot of things that are like not like necessary, like whatever, but like, I don't know, the time is gonna be good, and like work on booktube and like really put good energy into booktube again. And like, this is, I think, a really good decision for me and my mental health. And like, I will go back to work, obviously. Like, I'm gonna give it a few weeks or whatever, but I don't know, I feel good about this decision, and I'm really looking forward to like doing booktube stuff in the new year and getting caught up on everyone's videos and like all of my end of year content, which I will actually have time to like put together and film. And like, I don't know, I feel good. So thank you for watching the vlog. Talk to me down below as always, and hopefully in the coming year my content will be a little better planned, a little happier. I don't know, but thank you for watching.